Well, the collection of bins in Douglas is about to change forever. We've been used to so long having it done every week, but that's going to be changing. Falk is here from Douglas Corporation, and it isn't soon to be the City Corporation, no doubt. But Falk, what exactly is happening? Because I don't know if I've had that much warning about it. I mean, I had to kind of hear it from other people, but it's going to be every other week?
We make a few changes. One of the changes is that we have a garden waste collection. Green bins that are going to be given to houses with a large garden, and they can get their garden waste collected at the doorstep without having to go to the amenity site. And that will start next Monday.
This is a new bins though, isn't it? I mean, I've asked for mine, it hasn't arrived yet, but it's what, a green bin? We're all going to get those who have asked for it?
Yes, so all the households which have about like one big black waste bin full of rubbish, garden waste, are eligible for that service, and they can ask for it. And we will deliver the bin in the next couple of days, and then they can start.
Was there any demand for this? I mean, I don't know if anyone stood for the council saying they're going to bring this in. I mean, where did this all come about?
So basically we want to make it easier for people to recycle. In Douglas we have a curbside recycling collection rate of 6% of recyclable waste, and 94% of course goes in the black bin. And we want to change that. So in the UK the recycling collection rates are about 45%. Ours, including with the civic community site, is about maybe 18%. And if you ask people what they want to do to preserve the environment, many of them will say the number one priority should be reducing waste, increasing recycling. And that's what you want to do.
So these bins, let me get this absolutely right. The green ones aren't to put in your recycling stuff. This is purely for stuff that's in the garden and that sort of stuff, yeah? Am I right in reading that?
Yes, that's just for the garden waste, so that includes grass cuttings, hedge cuttings, small branches.
So if you want to do recycling, you still use those three other ones that you can pick up as well, which I've got, but no one's ever come near me to empty it. But is that right? So we're now going to have the three sort of coloured bins, then we have the big green one and the sort of usual brownish one or whatever, blue brown one. But what about people who really use that bin to the maximum every week? And I know people who literally every week it's full to the top. How are they going to get through this?
Well, they probably have to change their habits a little bit. So at the moment it is just so easy to throw everything in the black bin, and that's what many people do, because many people are driven by speed and convenience in their daily lives. So it will be a bit less convenient to just have that mindset of out of sight, out of mind, and people have to actively think a bit more what they want to do with their waste, and then recycling will all of a sudden be more convenient than having to go to the civic community site.
I can see where you're going now, but the thing is, does everyone get recycling? I mean, is it Douglas wide completely? I mean,
yes, it will be offered all over Douglas. In Douglas, about 1/3 of the households have one person in them, another third have two persons in them, and only 5% of the households have 5 people or more in them. And those people are going to not usually living in small flats, they are going to live in like houses with many bedrooms, where it should be quite easy to have multiple bins.
I can see problems though where bins are full, you know, the top's open, the seagulls are going to start having a field day, and other rodents horribly maybe as well. There's nothing you can do about that. If you fill your bin, you fill your bin. You can't.
People can always go to the civic community site if they really have like an issue for a short time and they have too much waste, they can drop it off there. But on a day-to-day basis, they should really get used to putting less waste in their black bin and recycling more instead, diverting their waste, maybe also compacting the waste. So most people don't fill up their bin to the brim. There are some households that do, but most people will actually be able to compact their waste a bit more, squish it down a bit, and also, of course, divert it to the boxes and the garden waste.
And what happens if you put normal stuff into your green bin and hide it with some stuff on the top? Will it be found out? Will they be looking? Will they be monitoring?
We will definitely monitor the situation, and if that arises, people will be given a warning. We won't take that waste then. So they have to look into how they get rid of that then. And if that happens multiple times, we won't collect the green waste bin going forward.
Is this 100% done deal, or is it under review after a while to see how it's all working out?
No, it is a done deal now. We have invested quite heavily into the garden waste bins. And of course the setup, like we have to, like the bin crew that's collected the black bin waste going forward will collect garden waste and the recyclables more. So there is a bit of a staffing change just from a retasking of responsibilities and so on. And this will be how it is going forward.
So you're not going to save anything on sending out the bin wagons, because obviously they've got to do. Those guys are going to have to pick up twice as much probably when they go out for the usual collections now. Twice as much presumably will be in those bins. But then the other week, do the same people go out to do the green stuff, or is that a completely different setup?
Yes. So basically, it will likely be that one week the black bins will be collected, and the next week the green waste bins. But people will be kept up to date. And
how much is this costing the council, which it means being passed on to Douglas ratepayers? Those bins aren't cheap, are they?
It's not, the bins aren't cheap, but of course we bought them in bulk, so we get a good discount for that. And there are some cost savings anticipated with this scheme. So when we do something for the environment, and this is something we do predominantly for the environment, one criticism is, of course, that, it's going to cost money and so on, and we don't want to spend anything. This scheme actually will save money for the ratepayers long term. And there is an initial capital outlay for the bins, but hopefully there will be some revenue savings because we don't have to pay so much for the incinerator anymore.
Is it too late now for people who are watching this to get signed up? Can they still get a green bin? Because I know there was a cut-off period, wasn't there?
No, they can still be signed. So we have a telephone number 696-448. That's for our recycling services. And they could write an email to recycling@douglas.gov.am.
And what date is this starting? Which week?
So the garden waste bins will be collected the first times in some areas on Monday. And of course, on some areas it will be on Monday and others on Tuesday, like usual.
Do you get notification? Will we know which days to put our bins out? Will something come through our letterbox to say this week it's the green one, this one is it the same day each week?
They will be notified which day it will be.
Right.
Handily enough, there is also a text messaging service that the council has, and people can sign up for that, and they get a message. Today is your day for bin collection, so please put your recycling boxes out. They can sign up for that on our website, which is recyclenow.am.